That bounce back win you guys had after Arizona, does that kind of typify who this team is and the way the season's gone so far?
I think that's kind of been characteristic of our team. I think our team has met a lot of challenges this year, has stepped up to the plate. A couple of times we didn't, but I think our group has been pretty good that way.
What did you have to say to them the day before that Arizona State game, or did you?
Oh, we talked about the difference in the first half and the second half against Arizona. We acknowledged that Arizona was a very good basketball team, but we also acknowledged that they were the same team we played in the first half. There were some things that we didn't do. Now, they imposed their will on us, maybe to cause us to shrink a little bit mentally, but still in all, if we play the way we're supposed to play, that's what we need to concentrate on, and we can be okay. So when we go back and play in this next game, it's over. Arizona's over. Let's make sure we do what we're supposed to do. And our guys were totally dialed in from the beginning.
You have a 24-hour rule on that, like football teams do? I mean,
We don't.
Ancient history?
We don't say the 24-hour rule per se, but you know, we talk about having a short memory and make sure you learn from the experience.
Andrew has been so clutch in the last 5 minutes. Is there a conscious effort to try and pace him or save him for those moments?
We definitely try to get him a little rest in the first half because he is playing a lot of minutes, and those are physical minutes that he's playing. But he's in pretty good condition. He's in really good shape. And there were a couple of games this year, I think an overtime game here earlier, where he had played quite a few minutes and was able to get a steal and really elevate for a dunk. So it shows you the kind of condition he is and how strong his legs are. So he's able to handle it.
Do you watch your team now compared to maybe what it looked like in the Bahamas? Where do you think you've improved the most?
Well, our level of confidence, we're a lot more sure of ourselves because we're a lot more sure of what we're doing in terms of our system. In the Bahamas, we're still learning. That was really, really early. We're still trying to determine roles and what's a good shot, what's not a good shot for each individual. A lot of that stuff was going on, and the defensive instincts weren't close to being there. And I think now guys understand much more what we're trying to do, what's our purpose out there on the floor. So I think we're playing much more purposeful basketball right now.
You mentioned confidence, and it seems like David's a guy who has a lot of that. He pulls the trigger without hesitation on those two possessions in the second half at ASU. Do you need him to be that kind of guy who's just going to shoot with no conscience?
We've told him from day one, you got the green light, David.
Yeah.
So, you know, we just don't want early contested shots. But I think good scorers and good shooters, every now and then will take a bad shot. Every now and then. And as far as I'm concerned, we'll give you that. Every now and then that's going to happen. But we want scorers and shooters to play with the utmost confidence. And that's a process to learn how to do that. There's a balance, but he does. He plays with a lot of confidence, which is good.
That move where he runs the baseline and then does the turnaround three, is that just something that he's always naturally done? Because it looks awkward, even being lefty and all that other stuff.
I'm kind of finding that out, that that's something he's always done. But it's one thing when he is sprinting, spacing the floor is what we call it. You're spacing the floor, you're not standing. But on the move, he does such a good job of turning and getting his feet set that he can catch it and go right back up with it. That's not a lot of guys can do that. And when he does that off the catch, he's much more effective than when he's dribbling into that.
When you compare and contrast the last couple of games, does that underscore how important Andrew is to the overall scheme of things for you?
Say that again.
I mean, if he goes from 9 against Arizona to 30 and 12 at Arizona State, like I said, does that underscore those two games? Kind of, are they a microcosm of just how important Andrew is to the overall success of the team?
The answer is yes, and the reason I hesitate is before we played the game, he didn't have to score 9 for us to understand the importance that he is to this team. I mean, in the summer we knew how important Andrew was going to be to this team. Thank goodness Andrew is here. Thank goodness Andrew redshirted. because if Andrew hadn't redshirted, we wouldn't have that luxury to have this fifth-year senior right now that, not only to me is having an all-conference player of the year type of situation, but an all-American season. And you can say, well, I wouldn't go that far. You look at what Andrew has done, he's playing like an all-American. And that's something that we were hoping that he would be able to contribute at a high level, and we knew he was going to be very important to this team. We knew it.
I know you never want to limit yourself. You've always talked about freshmen coming in with the ability to come in and make an impact right away. But because he redshirted, because he had that extra year, does that ever give you pause, maybe with certain circumstances that maybe certain guys need to consider that as an option?
I always say if I had a son, if he wasn't a guy that was just so good, he'd be a one and done or something like that, I would really encourage him to redshirt. I really would. They learn so much their freshman year. When they are ready to play, they're so much less stressed and understand so much more what's going on. What Sam Timmons is doing right now is going to be great for him. It's going to do nothing but benefit him. Although this is an entire year, but it's 2/3 of the year he's sitting out, and when he steps in, he'll have much more of an idea what this is all about. So